Guten Shabbos, Parashat Shoftim. As Hashem, the next couple of weeks, next few weeks, maybe a little longer, I'll be talking about random things, not with any special seder, unless the mikra comes up. But I'll just be picking a couple of different topics to talk about. It should be l'te'eles. This week, Bez Hashem will be speaking about the idea of that Tumas Nida is something which is part of the power in the creation. It's a very powerful koyach, and we actually find that this koyach was around even before Matan Torah. We find even by the Goyim, it's just a concept. As we'll see, the tumah, the power of the tumah is so great that it's not something which is in the Geya to the Torah Dafka. But Baruch Hashem, the generations went further and further from the way Hashem created the world. And there were certain things which in the past, even the Goyim understood, got lost. And the Eibshter gave us the Torah to understand the pureness, the pure way of living in this world. It says in the pasuk, "V'Rachel," going back to Rachel, "V'Rachel loches atrafim." She took the avodah zarah from Lavan. V'Tisimeim b'kar hagamol. She put it in the hump over there in the of the camel. V'Teshav aleim, and she b'kar, I guess, means the pillow, which is on the camel, and Vateshav aleim, she sat in it. Vayimashesh Lavan es kol ha'oil v'loyimotza. Lavan came, searched the oil from Rachel, and he couldn't find it. And everyone knows the story. Vatomer el Aviyah, and Rachel didn't get up from the camel. Vatomer el Aviyah al yicha be'ena adayni, my manhar, my Adon, my master, don't get angry at me. I can't stand up for you. Because I'm in Nida. Derech Nashim is called. I'm the way of I have something which is normal for ladies. Lashon Nekiah, she spoke. Yichapesh, and she looked, and he looked. But the Motzes Atrofim, I didn't find avodah zarah. So the Rabban asks, he doesn't understand what's going on. Why, just because she's a Nida, can't she stand up for Lavan? What's the issue? And Lavan was satisfied, Lavan had no problem, he went further, and that was the end of the story. Why in the world, what did this explanation help that she's a Nida? What did it help Lavan, why she didn't stand up? So what's right in my eyes is the nidus in the earlier days were very meruchak. Even in times of Lavan, they were very, very meruchak. They were people kept away from them. Ki kein shemam ma'olam nidus. The rechuka. Nida means not, going away. And the Ramban says even the word nida is not a Torah word. It's a word which was always around. These ladies, the nida, are called nida. Nida because they're away from the society. They keep away from the society. People don't want to stand next to them. Ki lo yiskarvi ala adam, because they didn't get close to people. V'yidabri b'yim, they didn't speak to him. Ki yadi hakadmoinim, because the kadmoinim knew b'chachmasam with the great chacham they had. Shehavlo mazik, and their hevel is mazik. Gami beta moilignai. Also, it gives. I guess what he's saying means to say that if they would get pregnant, it would cause harm to the baby. He said that that's the word. So he couldn't. He brings down from Chazal. Talmud asad l'shul b'shloim l'shul nida. You're not allowed to be asked to shalom from a nida. Even the words that come out of her mouth is tummy. Achar Nida, a person's asked to go after, walk behind the Nida, V'ludas Alafar, and to stand on her, and to step on her earth, she Tomei Kameis, because Nida is Tomei Kameis, she's Tomei Kameis, Kacha, Forash Nida Tomei Kameis, Tomei, just like a mace is Tomei, so to the offer, maybe he means to say the offer from a mace, is Tomei, so to a Nida's offer, is Tomei, you know, a step on the earth that she stepped on. You're not allowed to have a no, she's not allowed to cook and bake for you. And Rachel said, that's what Rachel said, I can't stand up and kiss his hands, and can't come close to you. And then I'm going to walk on the floor because I'm scared you're going to end up stepping on on the earth that I stepped on, which is not supposed to be done. And he didn't answer, he kept quiet. Why? Because you're not supposed to talk to Anida. And the Rebbeinu Chai says it more clearly, means he spells it out, doesn't say more clearly, the Ramban is pretty clear. Zok the Rebbeinu Chai, Zayyura, this shows us, he brings down the Ramban's things, and he says, Zayyura, this shows us, even before Matan Torah, the Goyim were knowing Tumah by Anida, and they would maxit her Tumas mess. And he brings down all the Chazal that we just said. And this is how we can understand a very interesting thing. We find in Chazal that in Mitzrayim, the Yidden were Orim Mikol HaMitzvahs. The Eibishter gave the Yidden two Dam Pesach. Why? Because the Medrash says that at area of Orim, the area you are naked in Mitzrayim. What does it mean? Orim, you are naked. Orim Mikol HaMitzvahs. You are naked from all the mitzvahs. They state in the Masri Bechoresh. That's what he said. But Blazer Kofar says no. They had 4 mitzvahs. Nechshdi al Royes, they weren't Nechshdi al Royes, Lashon Hare, and they didn't change their names and their language. But not more than 4 mitzvahs, not more than that they didn't have. And the question is very simple. The Torah Yo, it's the Alkut Mashmoni also, is Marich, why did Hashem brought the Makkos on the Mitzrayim? And as the Torah says, that everything is Midah connected Midah, and it goes through Tamakas. Dam epnei mabal. Why the Amish to bring the Makadam? They show you right. It's Israel toivlu mitam. They saw the Yidden being toivlu from Tumah mitashmish mitasayim. Even from Tashmish they would be toivlu. Well, mamish no chul mitahara. Bnei Israel toivus me'anidon in Bnei Israel toivlu means the Yidden were the men were toivlu from Keri. They were toivlu from Tashmish Shamita. If Bnei Yisrael toivus min Nida, and the woman will be toivus from Nidus. Also, Tasha Shemitah also. So what did the Mitzrayim do? What did the Mitzrayim do? Ochzu aleihem as a mayim. They held on they shut the water. They shut the mikvahs. Shlayitbeli, and they shouldn't be toivul. They shouldn't come to each other. They shouldn't be intimate, and they shouldn't have children. That's why Hashem turned their water to blood. So it seems like Hashem punished their water because they closed the water for us. I'm not sure if the Medrash is also is dafka because of Nidus. That's why they brought down that. But in the past I thought that it was, but now I'm just thinking that maybe we're talking about why the Eibishter. Yeah, I guess they were talking about also that's actually the main point over here in the Medrash. That's the kudah for Makas Dam. Makas Dam is because the Timus Nidus, but that wasn't. And they shut the mikveh because of that, and the Eibishter was managed them. So, what do we see from here? That the Yidden in the Mitzrayim were Shomer Nidus. It's another question. It's another Medrash that seems to say. The Yidden didn't see Dam Nidus. That was more in Mitzrayim because of the Pachat discussion. But the Torah is clearly going that there was nidus, and that was the reason why the Makkah's Dam came. And they went to the mikveh, and Medrash goes on, there were Mois Nefesh on the mitzvah, we spoke about this in the past already. There were Mois Nefesh on the mikveh, on the Imitzrayim. It's a Pella. So, if there were Mois Nefesh on the mikveh, maybe it should be a nest for them, if I remember correctly. And the shaila is, why isn't this part of the things that they kept in Mitzrayim? L'chayre, they weren't Arim Kol Mitzvahs, they were showing Nidam Nidus. And they or not only 4 things, they should add a 5th thing. Maybe this is part of Nech should do for Rayas, Shvach, not mashma like that. And Masim Echosh doesn't say Arim Kol Mitzvahs. What happened over here with Dam Nidus? And Medrash Rabbah also says that they didn't let them be toivel Dam Nidus because they didn't want they should misrabah, there should be more children. Also, what's pshat the Medrash? This is not part of the mitzvahs they did, because it's very possible, according to Zbein Mechai and the Ramban, understanding, and that's what the Medrash is also saying, that the idea of Nidus was around long ago, long before Matan Torah, and that's why even the Goyim held it, and it's possible. Who knows? Maybe Mitzrayim also held Nidus to where Shem Nidus. It's possible, and they were nechshad on Arayas. I don't know about Nidus, but Al Kapanim the Goyim also Shem Nidus in those times. And Mela understand that it's not one of those things that the Klal Yisrael doesn't mean they didn't do anything good. I mean, we're talking about mitzvahs, special things that the Rebbeinu Shalom wasn't mitzvah them anything, or at least the things that were misyach that Klal Yisrael was showing them Malbish also weren't mitzvahs mamash, but things that they stood out from almost Olam, that they worked on themselves, and Nidus wasn't one of them. The Kerach brings down from Ma'aseh Ga'onim, Omer B'chir B'Hashem B'chininim Adoisa, At Moitza She'Moitza Shoynis. The earlier mothers were Mishamrim as Nidus. And Miyad I noticed because they were Shemis and Nidus. They were Miyad. They were answered. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Isha Shemanoyach. Not sure. Isha Shemanoyach L'chayr was a regular yid, and she was Shem Mitzvahs. She was Mechayv Mitzvahs Nidus. About Kapanim Sarah, Rachel, Leah, Rivka, all the Imois were Shem Taras Mashpacha. And we all, that's the reason, that's what Rashi brings down, by when the Malachim came, they started making bread, but Sarah was pierced Nidus, so they didn't give them bread, because of Dam Nidus. And so we see from all here that the Tumah from Nidus is so powerful that even before Matan Torah, even the Goyim were showing even Nidus. And that comes to show us how important these Yanim are, and how much we should pay attention to. At least we're not knowing it's put on the Pesach. The Pesach discussed this concept of not talking to Anida, not touching it, stepping on the earth of Anida, but we're not knowing of that. But at least what we are knowing, the Torah is Masul Tavash, that gives us that anchors us in the world in a healthy way, that we could prosper in the right way. And we have such mitzvahs, understood the element of the Pri, which in our generation, all the scientists can't tap into. In the early generations, they were kushuk to the koiches l'yonim, the Zara, and all these things. They tapped into this stuff. But in our generation, only you didn't have it. Baruch Hashem. Hashem Matel Chalkeinu.